So I'm going to continue decorating the page, and I have this flourish stamp from Fancy Pants from Summer Soiree, and I am inking it up, and I masked off part of it because I didn't want the tail that curved to be on my layout. So I'm just putting it down here on the corner, and I'm going to put it in the opposite corner as well. And now I am taking this white paint pen from Marby Uchida, which is not that great. It's not very opaque. It's a paint marker, and I thought I would try it as an alternative to the Uniball Signo, but it's just not nearly as good, so I'm just going to have to hunt down another Uniball Signo pen. But anyway, I used it to fill in some of the flourishes, not all of the flourishes. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to put some pink glitter over it, and I wanted it to be pink on white instead of pink on blue. So there you can see, just highlights a few of the swirls. Now I'm going back over those with the EK Success, the two-way zig pen, the glue pen, and anywhere that was white I basically covered with that pen. And now I'm taking Doodlebug Sugar Coated Glitter in pink, and I'm covering those areas. So there you can see, now there's pink, and then I'm covering that with Glossy Accents because I don't want the glitter to shed. So the Glossy Accents is going to seal in the glitter. And now I'm going to set that aside to dry, so that the Glossy Accents will get nice and hard, and that'll make sort of glittered epoxy flourish look. So while that's drying, I've taken this piece of basic gray pattern paper and sliced it down the middle, and now I'm going to cover both sides completely with Versamark. And then I'm going to cover them completely with ultra thick embossing enamel in clear. And I dumped the embossing enamel on the first one, and then I'm going to come through with the second one and just scoop it up and sort of smush it around. And now I'm going to set it aside. And I'm going to heat it up, and you can see it gets shiny. You can see how it has the pebbled effect. And one coat of UT has a pebbled effect. But I actually wanted it to be completely smooth like glass, so I'm going back through and covering it with Versamark again. And then I'm going to cover it with UT again. And you'll see when I heat it up this time that instead of having a pebbled effect, it will be completely smooth. So you can see it get totally smooth as the second layer melts and fills in any gaps from the first layer. So now it is being set aside to dry while I cover the back of the paper with this green distressed paper from Basic Gray. Now I'm just going to remove those tags and cut it out with my craft knife. I'm using the Martha Stewart craft knife, which I like it just fine. Now that it's cut out, I'm going to go around the edges with black pigment ink from Colorbox. And you can see how they curled. So what I'm doing is heating from the back. Just want to soften the ultra thick embossing enamel a little bit. So I'm heating it a little bit, I'm flattening it out. I'm heating it a little bit, I'm flattening it out. And I don't want to overheat it because I don't want it to get totally sticky again. I just want it to be soft. So now I've put it where I want it, and I traced the edges with a pencil. I'm going to go through and put little tiny pieces of this Scotch dimensional tape all around the edge, because I'm going to use these to form pockets for tags. And so you can see how I had to use lots of little pieces just because of the strange shape of the album. And now I'm putting it where I want it, and I'm going to use a pair of scissors to cut it out. And the reason I'm using scissors instead of my craft knife is just with the embossing enamel, it was very thick. So you can see how I'm now going to use this as pockets for tags. So I'm going to start by covering, I have 2 large tags and 2 small tags, and I'm going to put one of each in each pocket. I'm going to cover both the small tags on the back in scenic grid paper so they can be used for journaling. I'm just trimming them out. And I didn't want them to be just grid paper, so I'm going to cover just the tops of the tags with colored paper. And this is the distressed solids that Basic Gray has in each paper collection. And just remember, I'm using the Urban Prairie collection here, so that's where all these papers are coming from. Just going to ink the edges in black. Now you can see I'm decorating the second tag with some ribbon. And I just stuck the ribbon down with glue dots, and now I'm stapling the ribbon. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to use my bone folder to get the staples really flat. And then I'm going to cover them in cardstock so you can't see them anymore. And so that's what the tag looks like now. And this is for Amy, who is Amy V Loves TV. She has to see me put a ribbon through a tag in slow motion. So what I've done is I've put a glue dot above the hole, and I'm flattening one side of the ribbon onto the glue dot. And then I'm going to feed it through the loop in the back. Okay? And now I'm going to feed the other side of the ribbon through the loop in the back. And I'm going to pull the loose ribbon, the one that's not stuck with a glue dot, tight. And that will pull the loop tight at the top. And that's how I get flat looking tags. She asked me how I got tags with flat looking ribbons, and that's how I do it. So now I'm decorating the larger tags, and I'm going to be covering them with pattern paper. So I'm just putting them down on pattern paper, cutting them out. And with the pattern paper, I'm doing one pattern on the bottom, and then similar to the look of the other tags, I'm doing another pattern at the top. And I'm inking the edges in black again. And it didn't look totally finished. It looked a little plain to me, so just trying to figure out if I want to do the same thing on the back, and I didn't. So I'm going to use these butterflies instead. And now I'm going to decorate it with a ribbon accent. And I'm just going to stick this ribbon through my Xyron Xbox. That's actually not what it's called. I just call it my Xbox because it's shaped like an X. And so now I'm taking the ribbon and I'm going to stick it on the tag. And I'm just going to burnish really well with my bone folder. And now I've covered the seam where the 2 ribbons overlap with glossy accents, and I'm getting a pink button. And I'm going to stick the button on and hold it down into the glossy accents. So I'll cover the seam. And for a little added accent, I'm just taking these small blue gems from Basic Gray and putting them on the side with the solid ribbon, no button. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the rest of it.